At the opening of the last century, the G.H. Lacy family, George and Minnie and their children, arrived in Mexico, responding to the call to go and make disciples, baptizing them and teaching them to obey the Lord. They faced a life of sacrifice and hardships. One Christmas, soon after beginning their work, one of their children became ill with a severe fever. The Mexican doctors didn't recognize the problem, and though they tried to get to the U.S. to get help, all 5 children died within 15 days of scarlet fever. Later, with more children, they were literally caught in their house in the crossfire between rebels and the federal troops as the Mexican Revolution erupted. Suspected as a spy, Lacy was pursued through the woods back to the U.S. by federal troops, only to return to his work again later. They faced several street robberies, among other difficulties. Yet through it all, the calling and the words of Minnie Lacy when she lost her first 5 children rang through.
Now we will lay down our own lives.
The Lacys lived out the rest of their lives in Mexico, leaving behind a heritage of courage, sacrifice, and commitment to the kingdom of God. Today, the G.H. Lacy Seminary continues the labor and commitment of its founder and namesake. Having originally been an ambulatory seminary, moving to various locations in the country, it is now settled in Oaxaca, in the shadows of Monte Alban. Monte Alban is the first true city in Middle America, where at the time of Christ, the center of indigenous Zapotec Indian culture was located. Today, the seminary that now bears Dr. Lacy's name is surrounded by indigenous cultures and languages, many of which still have not received the good news of Christ in a way that they can understand. Many of the people continue to worship the ancient Indian gods, continuing their superstitions, witchcraft, idolatry, worship of Satan and of demons, and general spiritual darkness. The need that drew the Lacys to Mexico goes on, and the work and commitment to sound doctrine and spiritual life continues in the G.H. Lacy Seminary. The labor of G.H. Lacy Seminary is to build up called leaders for the church in Mexico in sound doctrine and vital spiritual life, to serve as pastors, teachers, counselors, and missionaries. The need for leadership in Mexico is enormous, and our seminary has a monumental task. Because of the location of our seminary, our students are able to serve as they study, leading others and reaching out into the surrounding darkness. Our practical training programs fully involve students in hands-on work to the ends of the earth, working in their permanent, long-term indigenous language mission fields, even as they study and deepen their own commitment, understanding, and abilities. At graduation, they are already experienced workers, ready to continue in the work of the kingdom.